not in Africa, but we are here in Shepherd's Bush to see Australia meet Ghana, two of the real star turns at this summer's World Cup finals in Germany. The Socceroos desperately unlucky to be eliminated via a hugely controversial last-minute penalty awarded to Italy in Kaiserslautern, and the Black Stars also went out at the second round stage beaten, but certainly not disgraced in defeat by former world champions Brazil. Australia's coach Graham Arnold only met up with 5 of his players inside the last 24 hours. Cruelly deprived already of Mark Viduka, Harry Kewell, Scott McDonald, and only yesterday of Tim Cahill, Josip Skoko and Lucas Neal. But accentuating the positive, Graham Arnold there says it gives him a chance to look to the future and assess the character of others. The referee tonight is Mark Clattenburg, who comes from Newcastle upon Tyne, a regular in the Premiership. Ghana, of course, always play with exuberance and flair, and although they lost centre-backs John Mensah and Shilla Iliasu to injury yesterday, by the way, their coach Claude Leroy says they're the best centre-back pairing in the world. They will still start with 7 survivors from the World Cup, including the extravagantly gifted Michael Essien, Sully Muntari and Stephen Appiah. We can have a look at the way the sides are lining up then. Australia, in 10 of those starters played at the World Cup finals. The exception is Patrick Kisnorbo, who plays here in the Championship at Leicester City in the Midlands, and he's going to play at centre-back tonight alongside Craig Moore. Kisnorbo will be on the right, Moore on the left, and there'll be width supplied by Bresciano. He's going to play down one of the flanks this evening, and also by Jason Colina. As for Ghana, well, Junior Agogo, who's playing at Nottingham Forest here in England, gets only his second cap. He won his first in a victory against Japan recently. Much interest in the form of Michael Essien, who plays just down the King's Road here at Chelsea, of course. One of the most famous players in the world now. And Stephen Appiah, he's a terrific player at Fenerbahce in Turkey, and he had a very good World Cup. Those are the list of substitutes. They can use half a dozen, and the word from both coaches is that most of those fellas will get a game at some stage of the evening. Indeed, I think Michael Petkovic could well come on for the second half for Australia. Here is Mark Clattenburg, one of the youngest referees in the English Premier League, but one of the most respected, I think it's fair to say as well. Goalkeeper for Ghana, Richard Kingston from Ankaraspor in Turkey, now winning his 38th cap tonight, and that's the ritual pre-match. He'll be hoping he's not on his hands and knees too much tonight. Michael Essien there, who scored a goal in the recent victory against South Korea, wins his 21st cap. He just cost a cool £24.4 million for Chelsea to acquire his services via Olympique Lyonnais. It's a little bit blustery here tonight, but there's a good crowd in at Loftus Road, the home of Queen's Park Rangers Football Club, the Championship side here in England. I reckon there are going to be about 12,000 here, and they will cheer and cheer and cheer enthusiastically. Scott Chipperfield with the first pass inside tonight. The Black Stars, but wearing all white just to confuse us. It's played back by Hans Sape. He was the regular right full-back at the World Cup finals in that very tough group that Ghana found themselves in, with the likes of Italy and the Czech Republic. They did pretty well though. Both these sides went through to the second round, remember. Australia, first chance of the evening. No Mark Viduka in there tonight, of course. Jean Aloisi is then. He's also played in this country at Coventry City. And there is an opening straight away, and a brilliant save. Kingston fists it over the top of the crossbar, but a very good start from the Socceroos, and Milos Stojovski close to the first goal of the evening in the second minute. Well, that will do his confidence no harm, the goalkeeper who plays his club football in Turkey. His brother, by the way, is on the bench this evening. Here's a drifter in for Kingston, and he clings on as well. Well, he stayed down. There was a bit of a tussle, a bit of a jostle as he went for the catch. He held on to the ball, crucially. That's the most important aspect for any goalkeeper. And here we see how he holds on. and then just takes a little bit of a battering and decides that's bad enough to stay on the deck. Here is Claude Leroy, who's an extraordinary character. He's coached in the Cameroon, he's coached in the Congo in Africa, he's also coached here in England at one of the very much lower division clubs, Cambridge United, Claude Leroy, and he combines this job with that of a commentator on television in France. And he wasn't happy about the challenge, I don't think, here on the goalkeeper. The challenge from Patrick Kisnorbo. But they always make a lot of noise, these fellas, and they've usually got a few drums in there somewhere. The African beat. Kingston will be all right to carry on. There's a surprise. 28 now. Played in all 4 matches at the World Cup finals, having taken over from Sami Adjei, who wears number 1 but is the reserve keeper. Ghana haven't had an attack as yet. Socceroos have started really well. He's touched forward by Appiah, and the crowd get very excitable now. There are probably more Africans in the crowd than Australians, although there is a good Australian population in this part of West London. Turning and twisting and winning the free kick, Laria Kingston. First free kick awarded to Ghana. They were amazingly playing in their first World Cup finals because they've been an outstanding side in Africa over many years. Bresciano, who plays of course in Italy at Palermo these days. A move he made in the summer from Parma. Be a chase on here, and getting into the clear is the Ghanaian number 17, who hits in the low shot, and that's Peter Oferi-Kwai, who was a late addition to the squad and has come in to the starting lineup in place of Asamoah Gyan. Gyan on the bench. And there was also a bit of a blow for the Ghanaians when Razak Pimpong picked up an injury in training last night, and I don't think he'll be featured, even though he's named among their substitutes this evening. Here's Oferi-Kwai making a nuisance of himself again, but it will be Australia's throw. Shame for the fans here that the likes of Viduka and Kuhl got available, and Tim Cahill as well. More of that in just a moment. We'll see what happens here as the ball is picked up by Jason Colina. Craig Moore, then Scott Chipperfield aiming it long. Colina trying to get in behind the last line of defence, but the ball will go down. News on those Australian injuries, by the way. Tim Cahill, who picked up a knee injury at the weekend, is likely to be out until the new year. Graham Arnold, the coach, has taken over, of course, from Vucinic since the World Cup finals. He's the only remaining member of the coaching staff that was employed in Germany. Still not happy that he's fit to continue and requires further treatment. So the Ghanaian physio Adi Ansar has been summoned, Dr. Adi Ansar, to give him his full title, and Claude Leroy has a concern early and will tell his reserve goalkeeper here, Sami Adjei, to warm up, I think. We can see it again once more. It's the challenge there of Patrick Kisnorbo that unsettles Kingston. He clung onto the ball, then felt his head, so he clearly did take a considerable whack on the head there. Claude Leroy's an affable fellow, but he wasn't too amused by the incident. So Sami Adjei, who is a regular goalkeeper, he's played many an international, 31 caps in fact. Plays these days for Mohadan Sports. That's a club from Israel, but Kingston says he's all right again. It could well be anyway that Ajay will come on for the second half. The coaches may well rotate their goalkeepers and give them 45 minutes each tonight. But 6 minutes played here at Loftus Road, and it is Australia 0, Ghana 0. Good intervention over on the far side by Habib Mohammed. It's amazing looking at the list of countries that these players come from, particularly the Ghanaians. Turkey, Germany, Holland, Norway, England, Italy, Russia, and even Greece. Well, the clearances from Francis Dicko, and the one area of concern tonight for Claude Leroy for Ghana is at centre-back, because it's a totally new pairing of Francis Dicko and Eric Addo, enforced because of those injuries to Mensah and Ilyasu, the regular pairing. Craig Moore, Chipperfield. That's all broken up, and there might be an opportunity to get away down the right here for Kingston. Played it a little too hurriedly, and it's a comfortable one for Mark Schwarzer to pick up. And by the way, the ground has filled up very nicely now. I would say it's a terrific crowd here. Being asked on Radio WAA at the weekend what sort of interest there would be here in England. Well, I can tell them it's terrific, fellas. The crowd has really filled up since kick-off, which here in England was at 8 o'clock in the evening. I should be saying good morning to you in Australia. And it's a healthy crowd, so there's colossal interest in the match. As Australia seek to build down that right touchline. Was in there to Vince Grella, now to Colina. Both played in just about every minute of the World Cup finals. Away it goes to Laria Kingston, the younger brother of the slightly injured goalkeeper, who's still shaking his head a bit. That's wayward. That's very wayward. In fact, Laria Kingston holds his head in his hands, his dreadlocked head. So he's afforded, there's the brother Richard Kingston. One plays in Turkey, the other plays in Russia at Lokomotiv Moscow. Here's Craig Moore, who plays here in England, but in the frozen north of Newcastle. Infield from Bresciano. That's going to be too long. No, it's not. Chipperfield's done something with this one. Done well, Scott Chipperfield. That's why they call him the marathon man. Full of running. Player of the year a couple of times in Switzerland. He plays at FC Basel. That's a nice little ball, threaded through edge of the 18-yard area. Bresciano back down for Chipperfield. Plenty of time and room for the cross, and Kingston is plucking another one out of the air. There's nothing wrong with him now, the goalkeeper. If his head was still rattling, he wouldn't have caught that. Appiah. Good build-up here from Ghana, almost their first of the game, but the final ball across the edge of the area from Agogo goes wayward. Brett Emerton playing in a familiar right-sided role, which he does in this country in the Premiership for Blackburn Rovers. Bresciano, clever turn, and undoubtedly a foul by Sape. He makes nothing of it, though. Bresciano, who's known to be combative, shall we say. Now Kisnorbo's made quite an impact at Leicester City this season. But Bresciano there will be one of the Australians looking for a goal here. Maybe he's into the penalty area. If the cross is good, he's in there. It does come towards him. Instead it drops here, And Kingston is being peppered at the moment, this time by Jason Collina. The man from PSV Eindhoven really got hold of that and was close to what would have been only a second international goal for his country. Just see how he whacks this one in. It's a terrific strike from Collina. And he was a good 25 yards out. The picture doesn't always tell a story. Look how far he is outside the area here. He comes back to in there. It didn't get to Bresciano, but from fully 25 yards, he really puts some meat into it. Oh, lovely back heel. Bresciano's caught again. He'll have another free kick. This time the offender was Eric Addo. Good pressure building up from the Socceroos here with Brett Emerton. And he's caught. And another free kick, although Bresciano's played on. Collina in position for the shot. Kingston makes another save. He must think he's in a shy here, because the shots are raining in on Richard Kingston. And Collina's hit the last two, and they were good ones. It's a very lively match. Go-go. Great name, isn't it? Junior Agogo. Sounds like something out of a disco. Emerton for Australia. It's a very open game. And on he goes. He looked one way and he fooled the defender there, and he pops it through the eye of the needle. Lovely. And to Aloisi! And John Aloisi somehow just fails to make contact, which he probably should have done. But it's easy from up here. Let's have a look at the speed of this movement. And the cross comes in, and Aloisi, just put off by the defender, fails to make contact at all. But it was a great run from Brett Emerton, and good support play down the right from Styriowski. You'd think there'd have to be goals in this game, the way it's developing, and Emerton's the latest to drive forward for Australia. And another free kick given away by Ghana. Bresciano plays it in too quickly. Referee Klattenberg says take it again. Well, it's thriller-minute stuff, is this? And there's a lot of pressure coming in on Ghana, which will be of concern to coach Leroy. Referee Klattenberg, I don't think he's going to take the name here. I think it's just one of those long schoolmasterly-like lectures for Sully Muntari. Well, the game deserves a goal. We've had 13 minutes and we must have had 5 or 6 shots, all at the one end of the ground. And Marco Bresciano will take this one. Question whether he chips it in the direction of Aloisi or Styriowski. Oh, it's a disappointing one, is that? That's neither one thing nor the other. Neither a shot nor a pass to anybody else in the gold and green. Oh, what was he thinking of? I think he spotted a yellow shirt in the crowd. Ghana haven't been given the chance to settle. That was an important intervention there by Moore. There might be something yet for them. A go-go. Free kick against him. Interesting Junior Agogo. Only made his debut recently in a 1-0 win against Japan. He's plied his trade mostly here in England at the likes of Bristol Rovers, Sheffield Wednesday, and now Nottingham Forest. But he did score 2 goals at the weekend. Graham Arnold will be so pleased about the start his side has made here. They've got another free kick. A plethora. It's against Essien this time, and there's a bit of argy-bargy. Collina and Essien not exactly on the best of terms right now. He didn't like that, and he didn't like that at all, Essien. Collina anxious to get hold of the ball. Probably while Australia is so much on top, he wants to keep the momentum going. And I think the word there is, I'm in charge, you do as I tell you. Michael Essien. And now Craig Moore's having a word as well. Well, he does know Mark Clattenburg well. Clattenburg comes from Newcastle, which is the city where Craig Moore plays. But he's still chalk. Now then, Bresciano's last free kick was horrid. Surely he can do better with this one. Kingston poised on his line. He might actually have a go here. He will have a go, and it could bounce, but it whizzes wide of the posts. Well, I don't think we've got a statistician working alongside us tonight, but I would think at the moment Australia are leading on shots on goal by about 6-0. Though Bresciano hasn't quite got his sights set yet. Graham Arnold's opted for quite an attacking formation here, with Stojovski down the right, Aloisi in the centre, Bresciano on the left. So it's a 4-3-3 formation, and here is Bresciano once more. He'll play this one over the top. There might be something for Stojovski. Aloisi's in the centre, and the ball skidded off the turf there. It has been raining here in Shepherd's Bush just a little bit before kick-off, and the ball zipped off the turf. Woo, he says in French. Mon Dieu, probably. Good kick from Kingston. If that one had got a little bit closer to Ofiri Kwai, Australia might have had a spot of bother. But as it is, it's Schwartz's roll out to Moore. Mark Viduka was talking to me just before the game, and he says his injury's not too bad. So there were stories that he could be out with a broken toe for several weeks, but he reckons it'll be 2 weeks. That's all. So that's good news for Middlesbrough. The news on Tim Cahill, not quite so good. He's unlikely to play for Everton again before the new year. Here goes Essien. Could get a shot through here. Instead it's a pass. Shout for handball. And referee Clattenburg has obviously not given a penalty, and he's shaking his head and he's smiling about it. Maybe he's taken the view that it was ball to hand and that he couldn't get out of the way. Yeah, I don't think he could either. I think that's a fair decision. Ghana have actually won themselves a corner. Up comes the big centre-back, Francis Dicko. In high as well, and the header just over the top of that Australian crossbar. Not sure that Schwarzer would have got to that. It's the best we've so far seen from Ghana, and the header was from Essien, and it's just too high. But it's a game that continues to entertain. It's a pulsating match. It's over the top from Michael Essien, who has been among the goals for Chelsea this season. There's a constant drumbeat from the Ghanaian fans, which is adding to the mood of the evening, which is excellent. Sape. Australia are closing down, marking their men well. Bresciano tries to get away. I think that's been a feature so far, though. The Australians are just not letting Ghana settle at all on the ball. Aloisi. Bresciano seeing much of the ball. Can't get between those two white-shirted Ghanaians, however. Little touches here. The crowd roars. Essien's on his way. Colina pursuing. The ball is swept in. Might be a shot here. Thump wide from Ofiri Kwai. But the game, I cannot believe it's scoreless right now, because with 20 minutes played, it has been full-time, non-stop, end-to-end action. All it needs is a goal. Man, with a shot like that, we might not get one at all. It missed by the proverbial mile, did that. Nearly ended up in Shepherd's Bush tube station. Bresciano, lovely pass here for Chipperfield. He'll make ground quickly. 3 calling for the ball across the centre. One of them is Aloisi. It's Kingston's catch again. Crowd are loving this. Chipperfield in familiar territory here. He looked up and then he checked and decided to play it in with the right foot, but it was too close to the keeper. Away comes Sape. Back by by Agogo. Got a wrap on his ankle there. Sarpe, who plays in the Bundesliga in Germany for Wolfsburg. Ball was reversed by Appiah. The crowd loving that, and still he keeps the possession going. And Ghana have an opportunity here. Well, they had, but not anymore, because Grella's come back to do his usual biting job. Winning the ball, that's his job. Grella's pass here, through the middle it goes. Keeper way off his line, but he's there in time. It was well read. Good goalkeepers also act as sweepers, and that's exactly what Kingston did there. Craig Moore and company being extended a little bit more in the last few minutes by these Black Stars of Ghana. Ghana, by the way, hosting the next African Championship, the Cup of Nations, so they don't have to qualify, which makes matches like this friendly all the more important for them. They haven't got any competitive fixtures. They're asking for a corner here, and it is won for them by Appiah. Well, the crowd are booing, but I think from up here it looked a correct call from referee Clattenburg. And Ghana have no fewer than 7 players up in the penalty area. 7 white shirts in there. Have Australia got enough to defend against them all? Head it straight up in the air, and then through it goes, but Schwarzer will be able to pat the ball down, and no damage done by Suleimantari's header. Well played, Schwarzer. He's got that ball through to Emerton in the gap down the right. Emerton will cross it deep here. Bresciano needs to take it down, lobs it back into the danger area. There's the header. Not a dangerous one from Aloisi. Comfortable catch for Kingston again. The goalkeepers are busy boys. Barely time to breathe here between the incidents. So some people might question the wisdom of international matches in London between two nations who have nothing at all to do with England, but the fans are being royally entertained here. Grella's pass taken by Colina. Emerton now. This really does revive memories of that wonderful summer in Germany and those World Cup matches in which these two nations did themselves proud and really put themselves on the international stage. First finals appearances for both countries. Australia after so many playoff disappointments. It all began so well with that victory in Kaiserslautern for Australia against Japan. 3-1 the score then. 2 late goals from Tim Cahill and 1 from the man up there tonight, Aloisi. They then lost to Brazil 2-0, drew with Croatia 2-2, the game that saw them through, and then unluckily lost to the Italians. And a full boot onto the ball, carries it dead, and that will be a goal kick for Ghana. He just stretches out here, Stadiowski, and that's gone dead. And Ghana's progress in those finals, no less spectacular, especially as they lost their opening fixture to the Italians, 2-0. Well, then they stunned the world by defeating the highly fancied Czech Republic. This one's gone all the way through to Schwarzer. Ghana then beat the United States of America 2-1 before they also lost to Brazil by a goal more than the Socceroos lost. Aloisi will race on after this one, and he's got the better of the defender. It's John Aloisi here for Australia. Down he goes, penalty kick. Australia have the penalty, and there was no doubt in referee Clattenburg's mind that Francis Dicko had taken John Aloisi down, and the man whose penalty in Sydney sent Australia to the World Cup finals may have the chance to score another penalty here in London. Here he is, look, he's just got the better of him, and that is a penalty kick. John Aloisi scored against Uruguay, the most famous goal in Australian football history. Can he score again here now? this to give the Socceroos the lead. He's done it. Australia 1, Ghana 0, and they'll be cheering down under. It's his 25th international goal in his 48th appearance. John Aloisi, the man who scored 6 against Tonga, 5 against the Solomon Islands. He scored in the World Cup finals against Japan. He scored here in London now against Ghana. Australia 1, Ghana 0, and this is how it was dispatched. Straight down the middle. That's the scoreline that Australia deserve on the balance of play. 27 minutes gone. Well, we'll see if Ghana are frustrated and how they're going to respond now. That was a bit of a lunge, I have to say, by Craig Moore on Larry Kingston. Free kick, justifiable decision. The ball played already to Sape. Takes the option of playing it wide right. Then into the area it goes. Chipperfield's under the header a little bit here. Montari. Emmett's offered a pace. Aloisi. Well, the game deserved a goal. And in fairness, Australia, who'd had all the early chances, probably deserved it more than Ghana. Australians already qualified, of course, for the Asian Cup finals in their first attempt in playing them, having overcome Kuwait recently. Ghana's Essien with the free kick. Ooh, they allowed that one to get through. Could suffer the consequences as well. Here is Montari and Appiah, and Montari's shot deflected wide, but by his own man, and that's going to be a goal kick. Sulley Montari, always a handful, scored in the World Cup finals against the Czech Republic. Took a deflection off his own man, and that drifted it wide. Well, the boys are in town and the band's here. I think they're going to have a good night no matter what the scoreline. I did like the pullovers, by the way, the jumpers you may call them. Ghana are usually full of attacking invention, so despite the fact they're a goal down, they'll continue to come and try and get themselves back into this match as quickly as possible. Referee Clattenburg there, the man in red and black tonight, had absolutely no doubt about the awarding of that penalty kick against Francis Dicko. That's another, they are giving away a real surfeit of free kicks, and referee Clattenburg's had enough. He's taking the name of Eric Addo. In fairness to Addo and Dicko, they weren't expected to play here until yesterday, when the two regular centre-backs both pulled out and Claude Leroy had to thrust them into a very difficult night together. And Australia will come again here, seeking a second, maybe playing the ball around very nicely, and they've got several forward here. Straight forward header, should have been goal number 2. What a chance that was for Luke Wiltshire, and he's fired the header directly at goalkeeper Kingston. A foot either side of him, the Socceroos would have been 2 ahead. Wiltshire will not get a better chance than this one all evening. No reward for Ghana either. Half an hour played, it's Australia 1, Ghana 0. Ghana are coming themselves here now in this thrilling match. Ooh, it's the outside of the net from Montari. Joey thinks it took a deflection. Lashed it in from the angle. I don't think I can recall a first half of a game recently which I've seen so many shots on goal. That one had plenty of power and pace from Sulley Montari. Schwarzer, 34 now, the goalkeeper, who was dropped during the World Cup finals after, what shall we say, a less than distinguished performance in one match, but then recalled. Dropped after the Brazilian match, quickly reinstated. Collina's passed through here, and it might just get through. Bresciano, Collina. Wiltshire contesting the next ball. For a free kick for Ghana. There haven't been too many free kicks for them. Luke Wiltshire there, of course, has moved from England in recent months to Holland to play for 20. Graham Arnold very pleased with the way the Socceroos have approached the task tonight, especially as they've really had so little time together. Grella. Then Wiltshire, Bresciano, Chipperfield to give chase again. One-on-one. And he's managed to pick himself up here after the tackle by Sarpe. That could have been a second penalty. And, let's have a look. He goes for the ball. He's very lucky in that he does get a bit of the ball, and Chipperfield, to be fair to him, makes nothing of it. A lot of talk about players diving and going down unnecessarily. Well, Scott Chipperfield isn't one of them. This will be a free kick. Wiltshire this time, taken down by Muntari. Mr. Clattenburg's had a busy old night. There's still an hour to go. So Bresciano will see the green and gold's up there. Kingston surely will grab this one though. Without anything untoward happening. Agogo. Good takedown from Junior Agogo. Who's on his way, taking on Grella. Still Agogo. Squares it for Essien. He can really hit them, and it is Essien. Schwarzer's down and makes the stop. Well, Michael Essien's had at least 2 chances tonight to figure on the score sheet. But Schwarzer stretches his 6'4" frame and manages to drop on the ball and to retain it. Wasn't about to let it out of his grasp. We saw it all the way. So Australia still retain their advantage. Free kick against Aloisi, with his challenge on Ado. Well, the Ghanaian fans just love football, and they love making plenty of noise irrespective of the scoreline. They probably don't even know it's 1-0 to Australia. Sape. I think we can expect to see a number of switches in personnel during the half-time break. Certainly the Australian intention is to bring on some of their younger players, and Craig Moore's conceded a free kick here. The challenge was on Laria Kingston, another who plays in Russia at Lokomotiv Moscow, and has won this free kick. It really would set up the second half if Ghana were to get an equaliser, and that's what Stephen Appiah is intending. 5 white shirts in there for him to aim at. As Kingston will run over the ball. It is from Appiah. It is deep. I think it's too deep. Much to ponder for the coach. Ghana have won all 3 friendly matches they've played since the World Cup finals. They beat Togo in September, and then they've just had these successes against Japan and South Korea. So they come here very buoyant. And they've 1 or 2 interesting characters on the bench as well tonight. So they mount this attack down the right-hand touchline. Appiah is doing plenty of running, but he's waiting inside the penalty area, hoping for a cross. Flashed away, but not very far. Oh, but the breakout is on. The Australians here racing forward in numbers. It's a real charge. What's he going to do here? Well, he's going to head the ball into the crowd, Kingston. Well, he's come racing out of his goal twice. Nothing wrong with his head there, was there? The man who had treatment in the first couple of minutes to a head wound. Well, that's brave goalkeeping. They always say goalkeepers have to be a bit crazy. This fellow lives up to the billing. Oh, they were in trouble there, but for the clearing header. Aloisi thought he was on for a second. Look at the look on his face. He would have been in, but for the clearance from Dicko. Emerton's teasing cross. Bresciano intends to play another one in now. Up they all come. Chipperfield's just trotting in. Arriving alongside Moore. Styriowski. They're all in him. It is Moore! What a save from Kingston! Craig Moore, the man who scored from the spot kick against Croatia in Stuttgart, must have been convinced he'd headed a fourth international goal here. It looked for all the world as it was going in, and Kingston's fingers keep it out. Wonderful stuff from the goalkeeper. He might have to work again here. Bresciano. Well, it's amazing that it's only 1-0. Kingston's made a couple of extraordinary saves. He's made a couple of very eccentric clearances with his head, and he's a man in the thick of things. Richard Kingston, 28 years of age, 38th cap. What about, he will not have made a better save in any of his previous 37 appearances than that. That is out of the top drawer. Sensational stop. Craig Moore still shaking his head. Appia. 50-50 ball, which Emerton takes. And Emerton fled it across. Aloisi, though, well, he'll get a corner. I don't think Dicko was quite sure what to do there. So in a way, he did the right thing. Safety first. Corner Australia, 7 minutes before half-time. Aloisi breathing down his neck. Well, Moore got the header in at the last corner, and he's one of those in the hunt again here now. Kingston will expect something to come. Moore is up there, but it's going to drop down to Luke Wiltshire. Plenty of people to aim at in there, but it's a weak cross and plenty of time for Habib Mohammed to clear. It's 1-0, but it could well have been 3-1, 3-2 even, 4-2 even. Let's see if there are any more goals in this half to be had. But a vibrant sort of atmosphere and an excellent display, especially from the Socceroos here. Thoroughly enjoying their night out in London. Chipperfield squares it for Wiltshire's shot. Well, they've just about kept it out. Oh, a lovely piece of skill from Essien. He looks up, looks to his right, goes on through the middle, eventually plays it wide to the left-hand side instead to Muntari. Cross it comes in here. Big chance for Kingston. It's breathless. It's Australia's turn. It's almost like flipping a coin one side and then the other, given the opportunity to attack. Wiltshire for Australia. Bresciano. This time they are forced back. Jason Kalina had two shots in the opening few minutes, which both extended goalkeeper Richard Kingston. Grella spots the run from Aloisi, but it is an offside run. Aloisi, who played in this country for Coventry City and then moved on to Spain at the Deportivo Alaves. He's got the only goal so far tonight, John Aloisi. I suppose the danger for Australian coach Graham Arnold is that while he's got the desire to bring on one or two of his youngsters in the second half, his side could lose a little bit of rhythm. And they've generally had most of the rhythm in the first half. They've been excellent, but it's something for Graham Idle to ponder. He probably won't make all the switches at the same time. He'll just ease the youngsters in. And as Australia win a free kick, I can tell you that those youngsters include Ryan Griffiths, who plays these days at Rapid Bucharest in Romania. He's on the bench. So is 23-year-old Brett Holman, who plays in Holland at Nijmegen. Michael Thwaite is a substitute tonight as well. Michael Beecham is here. He was in the World Cup squad. And also Casey Wehrman, who plays in Norway at Lillestrøm. Those are the Australian substitutes, as well as goalkeeper Michael Petkovic. Aloisi's goal separates Australia from Ghana right now in London, which sounds very strange. He's up for this one. He's got the header as well, but Staviovski just pushed aside. But the goalkeeper there, Richard Kingston, the man in the blue top, has been really excellent. But for him, Australia certainly would have led by 3 at least. Montari stretches away from Colina, gets it through as well. And then Laria Kingston. Agogo's made a run, edge of the 18-yard area. Good footwork from him. Needs support though. Fires one in, headed away, not very far. Gonna go wide. Habib Mohammed, the left fullback, was furthest forward here to be the end of Junior Agogo's cross. And rather pulls it. Colina. The Ghanaian defence has been found square on a number of occasions, but they've only been punished just the once, when Francis Dicko took down John Aloisi, who converted the penalty. Appiah. It was a neat little flick. Kingston onto it. Good pressure from Ghana. Closing moments of the half here at the Queen's Park Rangers ground at Loftus Road. With Australia, a goal to the good. Oh, it's a chance here for Appiah. Oh, it's flashed through. I thought that may have taken a deflection. But I think there was going to be an offside decision, was there anyway? The referee's looking at the assistant. Stephen Appiah here looked as though he may be on. It was a good ball through. He certainly was not offside. And it's actually gone 3 or 4 yards wide. And he didn't even get the corner he was asking for. Chipperfield. Wide is Colina. Chipperfield streaking forward, hoping for a return. But the move is concentrated through the centre initially. Agogo. Want to chase this, so it'll be steered safely back by Kisnorbo, and then on towards Aloisi. Safely done this time by Dicko. There are going to be 2 minutes of added time here in Shepherd's Bush. With Ghana contented and playing themselves away. Kingston. Low centre of gravity, gets away from Grella, then he takes the same man on again. Little flick in field from Kingston, who may just have brought his opponent down. But a sporting shake of the hand, and all is well. It's a free kick for Australia. I reckon at just about good value for their lead. They started breathlessly and created all the openings in the first 20 minutes or so. It took Ghana a long time to get going, as we see this latest free kick against a Ghanaian player. They've certainly conceded plenty of those. Aloisi. Oh, there was a slip there, but fortunately for Habib Mohammed, Stidiovski slipped too. Free kick Australia. Is there time for a second goal in the closing seconds of this opening half? Well, it's described as a friendly international, but it's been played in a really competitive manner. And Brett Emerton will have the opportunity to try and tease a second goal out of his colleagues here. They're lined up across the 18-yard area. Aloisi, Kisnorbo, Chipperfield, Bresciano, they're all in there, but I think that's going to be too deep for everybody. And as the ball drifts out, I think referee Clattenburg will consider blowing the whistle any second now. Indeed, that's just what he does do. Well, it was a scintillating half, sizzling at times. Australia creating so many early chances, but John Aloisi has taken the only one after he himself had been brought down by Francis Dicko. Richard Kingston, though, has been an absolute star for the Black Stars. The goalkeeper has entertained those Ghanaian fans and frustrated the Australians with a series of thrilling saves. But it's been good. It's been very, very good. The band have certainly enjoyed it, and we're singing along to the tune of this scoreline. At half-time, it's Australia 1, Ghana 0.